everyone, thank you for tuning in. I'm your instructor Joy. Thank you very much for your continued support. I really appreciate. So in this video, we're going to talk about 5 general rules when it comes to bowing. Sometimes when we get a sheet music, it already has a suggested bowing marks, marked down bow and up bow, or sometimes we have a help of an instructor or professor giving us bowing signs and so on. But it is very important for all of you to understand what the rules are and why we put here down bow or an up bow, and that way it serves your music the best so that your playing sounds the nicest and the most beautiful way. So of course, like any rules, there are exceptions, but these are 5 general rules that you can take as a guidance, and you can try it yourself, and hopefully it will open some doors for you. Rule number 1. The first note of each measure is the strongest beat, except jazz music, I have to say. So I'm talking mainly a classical repertoires. The first beat of each measure is the strongest beat. So it is a good idea to start with a down bow. With the help of gravity, it creates a little heavier sound or heavier bow, and therefore it naturally creates the strongest sound. So whether it's Ode to Joy, or whether it's a Spring Sonata by Beethoven, would be good to start with a down bow. It's not impossible to do up bow, but why go it hard way whether it's easier way? So good idea to start with a down bow or a mark as a down bow for most cases for the first note of each measure. Again, there are some exceptions, but I'm talking about general. Number 2, up bows for the pickup notes. Pickup notes are the one often it does not play on its own, it belongs to the next main note. So something here, Beethoven's Minuet, in this first one, this is seen as a pickup note, or Vivaldi A minor concerto. This one is a pickup note to this one, and then or that one. These 2 are the pickup notes to this main note. There are many examples like that. So basically, these pickup notes belong to the next one, which is most of times the first note of the proper measure. When you see the music starting not proper measure but kind of half beat, or the missing some beats in the first measure, and then the next measure have a full beat, meaning in this case Beethoven Minuet, this one combined is only 1 beat, but it's supposed to have a 3 beats, which next measure has it 1, 2, 3. So the first one, even though it has its own measure, this is not counted as not considered as a proper measure, but it just next one becomes measure 1. Long story short, this is a pickup note. How you know how to pinpoint what pickup notes are. So general rule, pickup notes are played with the up bow. That way, next one, which is first note of the measure, first measure or proper measure, gets down bow, the strongest beat. Or this pickup of the Vivaldi minor concerto, up bow, that way the next one, yeah, that gets strong one. This should be the strongest one. So the one before, which we call a pickup note, that belongs to the next one, gets up bow. That way, it naturally gets softer. Sometimes we play several pickup notes, like here. In this case, as long as the last pickup note is an up bow, that way the proper first note of the proper measure gets down bow, it's okay. So here, I do up bow on the last pickup note, therefore the next one, excuse me, the main note gets down bow with a strong beat. Rule number 3. When you see the long sustaining notes, you don't always have to use a printed bowing or suggested bowing. For example, Bach air. So it has a long beat, so it starts very strong, the bass line here. A lot of violinists, of course, if you can play this long note in one bow, you should practice that one. Would be great. We want that. But let's say you haven't mastered that one, and then if you're sounding a little choked, something like this. I'm sure you're not sounding like that, but I'm just exaggerating to make a point. Then instead of holding to the down bow while sounding choked, just change the bow. Make sure when you change the bow, you slow down the bow speed and bow weight. That way your bow change is rather smooth, like this. Then slowly. That way you sound more fuller. So your bowing should serve your playing so that your playing sounds nice, not necessarily sticking while the bowing mark or whoever that put the bowing mark. Bowing suggestion or fingering should serve you so that you can play nice and easier and sounds nice. Sometimes slurred notes has its reason why we slur, which leads to point 4. So if we want to sound a little gentle, so slur for straight players is this long line marked over the many notes or below the line. Sound wise we call it legato lines, but sometimes we get confused because when you talk about legato as a sound, it means connected. When you talk about legato as a bow stroke, that means slurred. So in this case, if you want to make any note sound legato, meaning soft, gentle, or connected, it is a good idea to slur many notes, such as here, Tchaikovsky melody. By simply playing many notes, of course it's not the easiest way. It's easier to make the sound connected, a little more flowing. If I play separated, of course it's a different tone, but it's not as connected as flowing. So in this case it would be a good idea to slur it. One way of knowing how to mark it, how to find the right bowing. Sometimes slur serves also musically. When you slur many notes, just like get connected, also it sounds less pronounced, less articulated, and we sometimes slur it when we play musically passive passages. Here, in Tchaikovsky concerto, we have. Here, I slurred this entire passage. But here, even though I did 2 up bows, but I accented each one. The reason being is, even though a lot of violinists get caught up playing these fast notes, but these fast scale runs, even though we have to practice a lot, even though it's hard to do, but musically, it's not that important. Important one is this one. Those notes are important. Whatever in between, it's just kind of filling notes, just creating the mood or creating the background, if you will say. So in this case, it would be a good idea just to slur, but play what is important. Yeah, not some people, because they run out of the bow and they separate it, and that would change the whole picture. It becomes a little too much note, and people have a hard time understanding what they're trying to do. So, and that's another reason why we slur sometimes. Number 5, use short bows when you have short rhythm. Just like when we want to connect it, when we have a long note, we have to use whole bows or slurred note. Same thing goes for the other way. When you're playing such as Vivaldi, so here we're playing a lot of fast notes. It's important that not only we know how to mark it, but also know where to place the bow and the length of the bow that we're going to use. So the common mistake that I see a lot of violinists when we practice slowly, which is a very important part, it's important, you have to keep that in mind. In slow practicing, you have to use the bow and then all body parts so that it serves your fast or performance playing. In this case, it's a very fast, many string crossings. So even though you're playing slowly, you should still use the part you're going to use in fast tempo, which will be in the middle and short. But a lot of violinists practice, which is once or twice is okay. But if you practice like the slow tempo and then you want to bring into the performance tempo, what happens is actually you never taught your bow arm how to play fast. You only work basic for the left hand intonation. But when you try to do fast, your whatever it's collected muscle memory or right elbow, try to do, you're not going to grab the sound. So that is why after getting a little familiar, one or twice, it's fine when you use a little longer bows. But once you pass that one, see if you can use a performance bow, which is in the middle, and a short bow, even when it's slow tempo. Sorry. Yeah. On and on like that. Yeah. So I hope this gave you some ideas. I hope you can try it yourself. Whatever it is, whether it's bowing or finger or any type of technique, it should always serve your musical idea so that your playing sounds beautiful and special. Yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching and hope to see you again. Bye bye.